Rolex Daytona is arguably the most sought-after chronograph in the world. It's the watch with decade-long waitlists, record-breaking auction prices, and an aura that almost feels untouchable. But here's the question. Is the Daytona's popularity truly deserved? Does it live up to its legendary status, or is it simply overrated? In this video, we'll separate perception from reality. Let's get into it. You don't need to be a watch expert to recognize the Daytona. It's a design icon, sleek, balanced, and instantly recognizable. Its proportions are flawless, the subdial's perfectly spaced, the bezel detailed but not overcrowded, and the case comfortable on almost any wrist. It's one of those designs that hasn't aged and probably never will. Whether it's a vintage reference from the 1960s or the latest ceramic bezel model, the DNA remains clear, and that's the secret. It's timeless. The story of the Daytona is legendary and well known. Named after the Daytona International Speedway in Florida, it was born from Rolex's ambition to link precision timekeeping with the golden era of motorsport. In the 1960s, racing was glamorous, dangerous, and deeply aspirational, exactly the kind of world Rolex wanted to be associated with. By timing races, Rolex aligned itself not just with speed, but with excellence under pressure. The watch itself, though, wasn't an instant hit. It began as slow seller, only gaining true recognition years later, largely thanks to Paul Newman, whose personal Daytona turned into one of the most coveted watches in history, famously fetching a record-breaking auction price of $17.8 million. Collectors know that story by heart, but what's more interesting now is why that story still matters. The Daytona represents something very few objects can, the idea of a comeback. It went from being overlooked to being almost impossible to get. That narrative of precision, persistence, and perception is what transformed the Daytona from a functional chronograph into a cultural icon. The Daytona embodies the underdog that won, a storyline many can deeply resonate with. The scarcity of a Daytona is where things get interesting. Rolex doesn't advertise scarcity, they engineer it. Try buying a Daytona today, you'll probably end up on a waitlist that lasts years. You can't just walk into a Rolex boutique and buy a Daytona. This has resulted in a resale market that's often significantly above retail price. That scarcity, whether intentional or not, fuels demand. People don't just want the Daytona for what it is, they want it because they can't have it. Today, owning a Daytona signals access, patience, or power. It's the classic luxury paradox. The harder it is to obtain, the more valuable it feels. And Rolex has mastered that illusion of scarcity better than anyone. It's not just a watch, it's social currency. Part of what keeps the Daytona's appeal so strong is its variety. Each version captures a different mood, yet all share the same core identity. The Panda Daytona is the modern classic, clean, wearable, and endlessly versatile. The John Mayer Daytona has become something of a modern legend. Its popularity skyrocketed after the musician praised it publicly. Its green dial and yellow gold case turned what was once a boutique sleeper into a global obsession, proving how pop culture can ignite demand overnight. Then there's the Platinum Daytona, instantly recognizable, heavy, and understated. It takes a different approach. It's confidence in silence. The grail for collectors who prefer subtlety over flash. And of course, the Rainbow Daytona, perhaps the boldest expression of Rolex's artistry. It's proof that even the most traditional watchmaker can create something audacious, almost rebellious, and still make it feel utterly refined. We could go on and on and on. There are endless amazing versions, including off-catalog pieces, each adding another layer to the Daytona's identity, from refined to extravagant, ensuring there's a version that speaks to nearly every collector. The Daytona adapts, but it never compromises its essence. And maybe that's part of why its popularity endures, not just because it changes with the times, but because it always feels like the Daytona whilst catering to many different tastes. Beyond the model's popularity, there's no denying the quality of the Daytona. Every element, from the polished case edges to the precision of the pushers, feels deliberate and robust. The chronograph action is smooth and satisfying, a hallmark of Rolex's engineering standards. The Daytona's movement is entirely in-house and designed for reliability rather than complexity. It's built to perform consistently over decades with minimal maintenance. Even the finishing, though subtle by Swiss horology standards, is exceptionally clean and purposeful. It's not decorative, it's functional perfection. That balance between refinement and durability is a major reason why collectors who actually wear their watches continue to respect the Daytona, because behind the hype lies a watch that actually earns it. On one hand, yes, it's beautifully made, proportioned perfectly, its build quality is exceptional, and the story and heritage is unmatched. But on the other hand, much of the Daytona's modern day status comes from factors outside of watchmaking. Scarcity, celebrity association, and resale value all play major roles. If you remove the Rolex name in the waiting list, it would still be a fantastic chronograph, but it might not be the chronograph everyone talks about. There are watches that rival or even surpass it technically. What sets the Daytona apart isn't what it does, but what it represents. The Daytona is a case study in how design, storytelling, and scarcity combine to create cultural power. It's not the rarest watch Rolex makes, it's not the most complicated either, but it's the one everyone recognizes, and in a world of luxury, recognition is power. Beyond its engineering, the Daytona has the ability to capture imagination. For some, that makes it irresistible, for others, it makes it overrated. The truth probably sits somewhere in between. The Daytona is a remarkable watch, but its value today is as much about perception as it is about performance. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the Daytona's popularity is really justified, or is it overhyped? And be sure to check out our website distincttimepieces.com, where you can shop for the finest watch accessories, including watch rolls and straps, to complement your collection. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.